but there's inevitably, if we have a fall town meeting every year as sort of the biannual or whatever you would call it, then there's going to have to be, and I haven't actually asked Libby and Brian Turbot about this yet, how this would work, but there's going to end up being a whole new change in the finance committee process and the capital. There's going to have to be a separation. You're not going to be able to have department heads doing two different town meeting requests. It's going to have to be separated somehow. So that's something that hasn't been done officially. It's done every time that they vote for it, but it's all done for that year's stuff. Right. Usually it's a big ticket thing, whether it's sewer, a school. You're going to see the fire department thing on this year.
Airport,
because
there's a thing on too.
Yep. And in my diff thing, you're going to see that article. I don't know if you've looked at that yet. That's we're going to have an explanation for that at town meeting. It's going to be really good, and why that's on there is there's a reason. Because of the disagreements with how we're going to fund, who's paying for what with the infrastructure stuff that we need to do. Old South Road has been a problem long before Richmond started. This isn't new. That's like saying we haven't had any traffic since the boat went to Hyannis. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to say that. We had traffic in the 80s. It's just, we didn't think of it the same way, but you still had to circle around Main Street to find a parking space. So it's, so I think that the boards are on board now. I think we have a good we needed this diff discussion, the district improvement financing thing, to kind of get people at the table that weren't in favor of one or the other item or whatever that is. And it's actually an interesting discussion to talk about this district improvement financing law in the state, how that's come out, and why we wanted to have it for two different projects or two different areas. It'll eventually happen downtown at some point, this diff thing. It'll end up being utilized at some point, but it'll be just a one-time thing because we don't need it here. A poor community needs it because they don't want their taxes to go up.
Right.
But in Nantucket, we have the complete opposite. We have growth in the tax base everywhere. But then we have this little concentrated area of, let's just say, Coffin Pit. Let's just send this table as Coffin Pit. What was the taxes on Coffin Pit 15 years ago? Not much.
Right.
Now, January 1st, the reset hits for that assessment because it's almost done. It's going to go through the roof for this same piece of dirt. That's why we were trying to capture some of that new money to put it towards a certain project so that the taxpayers all over the island weren't technically paying for it as if it was, the school or something.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? But there's been some internal discussions, and we think that we have agreement, let's just say. Yeah. So, anyway. So go ahead. What else do we have? Boats. I know you can't wait.
We can't.
We still don't have a reset year,
A what?
The reset year still hasn't really happened. It's next year now.
The tax year.
It'll be next year. Because, no, I'm talking about the boats and the High Line and everything.
The reset of what?
The fast ferry system in the summer is still not accurate because of our unfortunate incident. And then last year the boat was late, so we still don't have what the numbers would be if everything worked for one summer.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but what are the implications of that?
Well, right now the slow boat traffic is down, which I'm kind of surprised.
Right.
Actually, I was talking with Rob about that yesterday. I'm kind of surprised about it. And then our fast ferry traffic, forget when the boat wasn't running. August is the only month that's whole.
Right.
Is down significantly, which I'm kind of surprised about that too, because the sheer volume of people keeps it sort of even for both boats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm surprised about the slow boat traffic being down. So it's interesting.
Because it's not cheap to come over on
slow boats. Not half of the fast.
Yeah, but it's not cheap to come over on the fast ferry.
No, it's not.
And
but the people pay it, and the one-time trippers are turning into one-time fast boat trippers instead of one-time slow boat trippers. Right. It's an interesting scenario. I'm working on something with them to try to get a same-day slow fast originating in Hyannis for day trippers to use the slow boat for one leg to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Get the flavor.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're already doing the fast boat one day with the parking at the boat Monday through Thursday.
Right.
It would only be able to be Monday through Thursday. But I don't know if they're going to do that or not yet. They don't have to do it just because I asked them. They have to run the numbers. That's how they are.
They are.
That's what they do.
Of course,
There's
yeah.
nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
I just try to make different
I mean,
suggestions.
Why wouldn't it be it doesn't involve any...
Because this is how they think. If there's a certain number of slow boat passengers paying $19 a ticket, and you take away ones that would already come on the boat and they're going to pay less, that's considered leaving money on the table in their eyes. They have to figure out, would those people have, what boat would they have already gone on? It's complicated. They're trying to tag fish and see where they're going to swim without really knowing it. That's how budgets work.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't go to college. I don't need to. I see how this all works. It's crazy sometimes.
But you might overall,
some of it doesn't make any sense.
You might
and some
overall
of it
increase
does.
traffic.
I think it could. It's
my kids love to take the slow boat.
one direction you can deal with, not two.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to take it two ways anymore.
Not in the same day.
That's an unusual thing for people to do that.
Yeah.
So, but things are working. I mean, the Woods Hole was on this summer. You know about that, right? That was something that I kind of had a little something to do with. We needed to have the Woods Hole.
Because of the height.
Trucks.
Trucks.
You can't use the Nantucket in the summer anymore for trucks. It's not obsolete, but it's close with trucks. Work beautiful on the Vineyard route to the Oak Bluffs. The passengers galore, cars, bing bang. It doesn't even matter. We need that boat here in the summertime. In the summer. Now they kept it on a little longer. We're going to look at how the deck space percentage. They have a way of calculating all that. And
between trucks and cars.
Capacity.
Yeah.
Because there's a little more capacity than the regular freight boat with that boat. That's like the capacity of the Eagle with the full width. Like, in other words, if the Eagle didn't have low wings, that's what this boat is.
Yeah.
Without the wings.
Right.
So you can fit the same number of cars as the Eagle, but more trucks than the Eagle. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same exact size. It's just different for the trucks. So, what was I going to say about that? Oh, so next year in the fall, you're probably going to see the Woods Hole down here, but maybe not. Maybe just through September. Instead of, because the schedule's going to run to October 22nd next year. We just looked at it yesterday.
Right.
And we may shift it a little bit because it isn't free for us to have that boat, the way they do the cost out analysis. So I don't like to see that boat down here beyond what we really need, because there's a cash register somewhere that's clicking that we don't think about. Okay? I want it to be here when we need it, not when we don't. So it's just... We'll see.
When they moved it over here, did it have an impact on the Vineyard?
No, they got the Nantucket.
Yeah.
No, they're all set. I'm talking about the way they depreciate. There's
No,
all
I
these other
understand
things
all
that they do.
I understand all that.
Yeah.
But from a service standpoint...
Service is the same over there.
I know.
They're all set.
I should say, I understand. I'm not sure
Yeah.
our viewers all understand.
The Vineyard is another whole
Yeah.
22 trips a day. I mean, that place is like Grand Central Station. I don't know how they do it. It's insane.
They don't have any more room than we do to speak of.
It's timing over there. I mean, those boats literally are like passing each other at exactly the same spot all day long.
Right.
It's unbelievable how they've got it calculated. It's like train tracks with switches. It's like, okay, this train's going to go right here. I mean, it's unbelievable. They're moving forward. They're doing pretty well with the construction over there. If you're interested, they're going to be moving into the temporary ticket office. They're calling it the temporary. That may be a little bit longer than temporary, though, because it's a new idea that I can't explain right now, but for another meeting, another interview. That's going to happen in November. So the bottom of the old building that people will remember if you're 50 or older is going to sort of disappear as far as the ticket part. The management people are still going to be in the offices upstairs until that building at the Falmouth is finished.
Right.
That's not even close yet, so that's going to be a little bit longer. So anyway, so
Anyway.
that's it. for
So
that.
what's the last thought you'd like to leave us with?
Well, one of our big issues with zoning and building and permits and desirability, we talked a lot about that with Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby said something at that interview that I have used all summer that I didn't think of. For every person that leaves the island for good, 5 people want to come here. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It might be 10. It might be, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely more than one.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see all this work being done, it's because people like it here. They like Nantucket. So when we say, well, we don't like it the way it is now, think about how many people just love it. So we've got to find it within ourselves to accept who we are for 8 weeks and somehow look forward to September 1st. Look forward to April 1st. That's what I do. I love the spring and the fall. Love it. It's the best time of year. The winter I really don't like all that much, but you got to deal with it. You're stuck with that.
Right.
You can't help it. I just think about weather and frozen harbors and all that. As long as we get through December, I'm happy. And I'm not just talking about the gas business. I'm talking about everything. When December goes south, you're in trouble because everybody's still moving. Holidays, people are coming here. It affects the businesses. When we had that fake hurricane, you know how many millions of dollars were lost? It's unbelievable.
I can't imagine.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We'll have the numbers of the lost passengers.
Yeah.
All that is you can't recoup that.
No.
And all the businesses that rely on those 90 to 110 days lost something. And we just, those of us in the year-round work, we just don't think about that. But you have to. You have to be cognizant of the seasonal income and how it affects so many different people.
Sure.
So it's like the Caribbean. I mean, they're trying to open up the Puerto Rico thing is another whole story. That's
right.
unbelievable. I'm talking about like all those islands, up the chain, all got devastated with the storm Irma, right?
Right.
And they're all scrambling to get reopened. They've canceled all these different people's vacations, and now they have advertising. I mean, it's like they have to have that income. Think about us if we got where we couldn't be open for, say, 2 months.
That's right.
That's unthinkable, but that's what's happened. Like, they're closed.
They are. They have to be.
I mean, it's
They're
kind of
both.
weird to say closed, but that's what they are.
Yeah.
So,
It was interesting. I called JetBlue for a reservation the other day.
were they giving the tickets away?
No, they said they were not booking any new passengers
Oh, okay.
to Puerto Rico.
Okay, for Puerto Rico.
No,
yeah.
because of the backlog.
So are people
from
trying
all the
to
canceled flights.
So
they're still trying to get those people who are.
So
still
there are
wanna go.
people stuck there that haven't even got back here.
I think that, and people
Wow.
who wanted to go there who.
I haven't heard that part yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's
watching
what-
the news on the Puerto Rico thing is very complicated as far as, like, I heard the other day that the power plants are okay. It's the power lines. The power plants themselves aren't disabled.
Right.
It's the
The
infrastructure.
the distribution system.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're an island. We're an island. I mean, the further out to sea you get, the harder it is to fix things or in an emergency. I mean, it's, Have you looked at the jetty? What was done? I didn't know that they did work on the West Jetty.
No, they did both.
I didn't, but that was already high. I didn't even know that until the other day when somebody pointed out. They go, I said they didn't even need to. It seemed like it didn't need any work. I think they sort of made it sort of even.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it
but
looks good,
they
doesn't
want-
it?
It does. It does.
And the end of the jetty is now the way it used to be, where it's all in a nice round, because it looked terrible there for a while like that.
Yeah.
But the Children's Beach
That.
closed for golf season.
That.
I hope that works. I'm worried about that.
We should talk. That's
That's
whole
another
subject,
discussion.
Another
I know.
discussion.
The flounder. Okay,
Thank you, Nat.
Dan, take
Good to
care.
see you.
All right,
As
see ya.
always.
Yep.